This is a Ray X listener fanfiction written by me, Ginger Lee, titled Behind the Scenes. Chapter 4, Wyan's POV. I woke up in the infirmary as the soft sunlight hit my skin, burning it slightly. When I heard the familiar sound of boots hitting the hard wooden floor. When it suddenly stopped, I placed a hand onto my head, feeling it spin slightly as the sound faded. When suddenly, as my head stopped spinning, the odd sound of the doorknob's rattle filled the room before it opened to reveal Mom. "Good morning, Wyan. How are you feeling?" she said as I tried to wrap my head around what to say. Finding my words, but the only one that could come out was a simple, "I'm dizzy." It rolled off my tongue. Before I knew it, it was out. She looked at me and checked my neck before saying, "Well, you'll be fine. Just get some fresh air, okay?" I nodded before getting up to my feet, thanking her as I walked to the rooms, getting ready for the day. After getting ready, I walked to the dining hall to see everyone eating as I sat down, putting my hand onto Emma's shoulder when she jolted, looking at me. "Oh, good morning, Wyan." As I looked at her, "Are you okay? You zoned out," I asked as she nodded, energetically shaking me a little. Before I let go, using the table, I put my head onto it, trying to stop the spinning. When Phil looked at me, "Wyan, are you okay?" I sat up, taking a deep breath, closing my eyes before nodding at him, looking back down at my food, eating it bit by bit. As soon it was all gone. As I was about to get up to help clean the room, Sherry asked, looking at me from the side, "Wyan, can we make flower crowns later?" I thought about this for a second before agreeing, as I was not in the right headspace to be reading today. Before nodding in agreement, as a lot of kids chimed in, wanting to join. Now, children, Wyan isn't feeling really good, so don't misbehave if you want to spend time with them, okay? They all agreed as we all went to do our daily tests and finish our daily chores before we went out for free time. As I walked out, being the last one, I took a deep breath before walking out, the sunlight blinding me for just a moment before revealing some kids playing red light, green light, or hide and seek. When suddenly a small tug on my sleeve caught my attention. Looking down, I saw Sherry as she pointed somewhere. "Come on, they're all waiting," she said. I looked over to see all the children surrounding a tree in a circle. When I looked at her before letting out a cough. Looking around, seeing Emma and Norman nowhere to be seen, assumably went into the forest. Sherry pulled me to the tree before sitting me down in the middle as she sat with the rest of the children. I told the kids to go get some flowers as I waited, looking up at the sky, a hand blocking the sunlight slightly before closing my eyes, clenching my shirt when the light was blocked. I opened my eyes to be met by the raven-haired boy as he said, looking at me in the eyes, "How are you? Well, how are you holding up?" I tried to change my expression, but I knew it was no use. As so I looked at him. I'm doing fine, but still a little lightheaded, I said, looking down as he nodded, with a short, I see. But as he was about to go, I pulled on his shirt. He looked at me, a little surprised at my action. When I looked at him, how was I like back then? I normally wouldn't ask this question, but I really didn't know anymore how I was like, how it felt like. He looked at me and thought for a second before saying, I wouldn't know much, actually, but he stopped for a few minutes before pulling up the book to cover his face. Well, you were always happy and had the cutest smile. And, well, was always reading with Alice. I only nodded, looking at the kids running back as I rested my back against the tree, letting Ray go as he walked back to the house. When I heard Phil yell out, "Wyan, we got a lot of pretty flowers." I nodded as they all sat down while I made flower crowns for them, some even braiding it into their hair. When soon enough, some of the kids started yawning. "Wyan, I'm tired," a few of them whined, as I patted my lap to let some of them sleep on my lap and some sleep near me, as around 6 others also wanted to sleep. I nodded, sitting into a more comfortable position before taking off my jacket, placing it over my legs, soon picking one of them up onto my lap as one of each slept on my side. As soon all of them dozed off. I closed my eyes, overthinking and analyzing a few of my dozens upon dozens of plans. Soon I felt a pair of eyes looking at me and the kids for a while before it stopped. The day passed by rather quickly, as it was already night. I roamed around the halls till I made my way to the roof, training for hours on end. Before I knew it, it was already morning, and it was time to wake up Emma. Walking down, I got ready, putting on my jacket, before taking a cup of water from the dining room. I got back to the room where we all slept in, and woke up Emma, handing her the cup of water, before she drank it. But still, asking, "Thanks for the water, but what is it for?" I looked at her, blinking for a few minutes. "You were having a nightmare," I said, walking to my nightstand, putting on my bracelet, as Emma woke up everyone else. "Wyan, why do you still wear that old thing? If you want, I could make you a new one," Gilda asked as I looked at her, then the old bracelet, before shaking my head. "I feel connected to this one, somehow." She nodded, looking away, remembering that it belonged to Alice. As I left the room to help Mom cook. After eating and the daily tests, I noticed something was off. As I looked around the field, not seeing Emma, Norman, or Ray, not to mention Gilda and Dawn, and some sleeping in front of me, before overhearing Mom tell Phil that they were cleaning up the extra rooms. I looked at him, his sad expression, before walking over to Mom, asking, "Hey, Mom, can I ask who this bracelet belonged to?" I asked, stopping in front of her, as she patted my head, saying, "Well, darling, it belonged to one of the older kids, and She was adopted 4 years ago. Her name was Alice. And he gave you it with a book and her pocket watch when she left. I nodded knowingly at Mom before walking back under the tree to continue reading. When I thought to myself, I knew what she was doing. Putting the trio in a room with two people that were unfamiliar with the secret can prevent them from planning anything and everything. But what I didn't expect was what happened next. Because a few hours later, she rang the bell asking all of us to go back inside. Checking my pocket watch, I saw that it was still free time, so to me it made no sense to go back in. But I still obliged. Going back in, I knew something was off. When I thought, something's off. This isn't normal. But what are we going back in for? Hey my little creamers, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'm sorry about the mic problem. My microphone is having a little bit of a problem. And I'm sorry I couldn't really focus. I was watching a reality sorry, I was watching a reality stream while I was recording, and I was laughing so badly halfway through that I couldn't focus. Uh, but besides that, I hope you guys liked this chapter, and if you just celebrated Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If you did not, or if you don't celebrate the holiday, cookie. Besides that, thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, my little creamers.